Can you start off by introduce yourself to the lovely audience out there?
Oh my God, I thought it was gonna be written.
No. Video is always more fun.
Okay, well, I am half American, half Turkish, and
So half American, half Turkish.
yeah, I'm half American, half Turkish, and I lived most of my life in Turkey, Istanbul, and I studied graphic design. And what else? I did film studies, and I like to do documentaries and take photographs.
So you take photographs in a very unique way. Tell us a little more about that.
Well, for me, composition is a very important element. I think it brings the feeling of the subject forward. It kind of supports the subject in a very important way. And I think I use black and white because composition kind of, for me, comes out more in a way. So that's my main concern.
Mm-hmm. So you told me you studied visual arts in school.
Sorry. Yes, I studied graphic design, and while I was in my second year, we had to choose between illustration and media, and I decided to do media. And I'm talking about 1993, 94. So I just had to. That's when I was using height, and I got a lesson on CNR, medium format, large format, Mamiya. And after that, I decided to travel the world, and I was looking for a job. So I decided to become a stewardess for a year, and I traveled the world to take photographs.
Amazing.
Yeah, and then during that time, I got to go to Yemen, Zanzibar, Cuba, and then when I came back, I had a solo exhibition of Cuba. I also had an internship for 6 months in New York in Mark Ferry Studios, which was a big experience because I was kind of scared walking around in New York in the 1990s, and it was like 94, I think, and I was scared to point and shoot my camera to strangers. And so I said, how am I gonna shoot? Because I've got this big camera, and you know, everybody in the street is looking at me, and I feel stressed. And so what we did is they helped me buy an old book for like, I don't know, 15, 20 cents, you know. And we cut the inside of the book, and we hid a little Konica camera, and I was shooting from the hip that I hid in a book. And I used a 3,200 ASA film.
Nice.
And I would just shoot these most bizarre photos. So that's when I started street photography, actually. And I had a small exhibition when I came back. And then I had to go and work in a design firm, and I did, you know, all kinds of, for 15 years, all kinds of design stuff. And always photography was, you know, part of my life. But after my 2 kids, I had more free time when they started to go to school. So the last 3 years, I'm really focused on street photography, and I became a part of Tiny Collective, which is a kind of a group with mobile photography, and they're kind of really a cool group. And I really think we are kind of like the pioneer of mobile photography. And that's the main story.
So before I ask you a little more about the Tiny Collective, so you shot medium format, large format film, etc., etc. Why do you shoot your street photography with your iPhone?
Well, first of all, I don't have any obstruction with my subject. And a camera is like a gun, and it puts the subject under stress. Sometimes you really want to have that stress in some situations, like portrait, or sometimes the photographer prefers that. But in general, when you are on the street, you want to be invisible, and the iPhone is really invisible and fast, and I don't have to think about anything, just the subject and the light. So all I do is improvise, and the more I improvise, the better I get the feeling of the subject, the composition, and I don't have to think. As soon as you start to think, you kind of lose that touch.
Yes.
And to train yourself, I think you need to be training that sixth sense with the camera. So I'm not there yet, but I always want to get that, feeling going, and I don't want to think about what I'm using.
Well, I think it's incredible. In in a few years, you created a very strong body of work.
Thank you.
Shooting with your iPhone on Hipstamatic, you said, right?
Yeah.
You must be out shooting every single day whenever you have the chance.
Well, I do. I like the morning light a lot, and I like winter morning light because the winter light brings out the long and contrasty, long shadows and kind of contrasty photos, and that helps my composition. And it really brings out the city. The characteristics of the city. And because Istanbul is a very crowded city, it's very difficult to isolate your subject. I know it's photographer's heaven, but it's not easy to get the essence and the textures, because there's so much going on. So much color, so much action, so much crowd, and you have to kind of isolate the things. At least in my what I'm trying to do, and that is a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And
so tell us more about the Tiny Collective. So, who are some of the members in the collective, and I guess what is your ultimate? How you joined the collective, what's your ultimate goal, your aspirations, anything else about the group you'd like to share?
Well, Tiny Collective is, we have 11 members from all around the world, New York, San Francisco, Sydney, Istanbul, Dubrovnik, Paris. So, as I said, we're 11 people, and the cool part is nobody knew each other, maybe just a couple, but everybody was invited based on their work. So I really like that idea, and Instagram kind of was a place for me to show my photos and show what my thinking process is. I don't mind showing bad photos either, because at that day, that moment, I can put something that's not really me, but I don't mind showing it because Instagram is kind of like a flow of your work. So, and you can see the development if you leave your photos there. And I don't mind bearing my soul, in a way. And so when I met other people like this, which is Dan and Kochi and Marcus, I really think you should go into our website, tinycollective.com, and you can see all the members there. And we are doing exhibitions. One is in Toronto right now. in the Pearson Airport on the 23rd of April.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you. And I will have a solo exhibition on the 23rd of May in Gamma Gallery in Istanbul. So the collective first of all, brought a cutting edge of how we use the iPhone, and we showed how you can push photography to a point where you can shoot with an iPhone, you can edit with an iPhone, and what are the capabilities? And I think we really are pushing the limit. And so I feel privileged to be a part of it.
So one thing I'm curious of is, at what point is quote quote mobile photography not quote quote mobile photography anymore? For example, there's like new Samsung cameras, which are essentially DSLRs with an Android slapped on the back of it. Mm-hmm. Does that count? And let's say one of you guys or somebody in the collective decides not to shoot with a mobile phone anymore, with more, let's say, a traditional camera. Do they suddenly aren't part of the collective? You know what I mean?
No. Well, we didn't want to put mobile photography on our mission statement. Mm-hmm. We are a photography collective. In the end, the work speaks. You know, it's not about your tool at all. But the collective started out with the mobile phone because it was something that was not considered. So we are using this tool, and mobile photography is a little more social in terms of you shoot, you edit, and then you can upload and share it. And you can have reviews about your work, feedback, instant feedback. And these are all, benefits that are kind of the positive side. But as you said, in the end, of course, we all have members who shoot film, who shoot different, with different formats of camera, and we do post them too. So it's not limited to mobile, but we do use it as a main platform for now. But who knows? As you said, as technology advances, the collective is open to anything that we could use.
I really love just your guys' democratic approach to photography. One of the things that really bugs me is when people are like, oh, everyone thinks they're a photographer now because they're iPhones, blah, blah, blah. But, I think it is very refreshing to see that, it is your artistic vision that matters the most. And I know a lot of people out there who are interested in street photography and photography in general, but are intimidated by the technical settings. So someone out there who has an iPhone or, other mobile phone, are there any just basic tips you would give shooting with a smartphone?
Oh, sure. I really think, I really think what you use has a language of its own. What I mean is, if you shoot with a medium format camera, you have a different language, in the photo. If you shoot film, it's a different language. If you shoot with wide angle lens, it's a different language than a telephoto lens. In this respect, yes, the tool is important on what language you want to use and what you want to input in the photo. But in the end, whatever tool you choose, let's say you're choosing and you're starting new and you're doing mobile photography.
Yes.
All you have to do is just shoot and learn the language of your basic camera on your phone. Uh-huh. And once you get the language of it, which is how the lens is and how you don't have to think about maybe at first about light and that stuff in the very beginning. Then later on you can develop starting from here because you'll feel comfortable shooting first. So the more you shoot, the more comfortable you get, and then you can get, you can advance yourself on something other than this while you're also carrying your phone. And so back to the subject. I think an iPhone is more than enough if you really, really want to start, photography, and especially street photography, because you can feel intimidated by pointing your camera. You could just start with an iPhone.
So could you just maybe just quickly show us some apps you use on your phone?
Sure.
Now you get some video footage of it.
Okay.
I don't know if this will focus.
Oops. Sorry. Okay.
Let's see if I could get this to focus. One second. So can you show us some of your apps that you use, and don't move your phone.
Okay. My main app is Hipstamatic.
Okay.
Should I show?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. The Hipstamatic is got a very interesting interface because it's got a simulation of film.
Yes.
So you can choose film from here. Also, you can choose lenses. So it's got a kind of a simulation of different films and lens combinations. So you have so many combinations to use. So that's my camera that I use.
Could you show me some of your favorite films and lenses?
Sure. My main film that I use is John S. And AODLX. And for color, I use Maddalena and Robusta. And some of them is just, this one is especially like a real simulation of a standard color photo.
Yes.
And I have Ben Watt's lens with, again, AOL-DLX. And Loewe and Black Keys extra fine.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then, so you shoot directly with the Hipstamatic app.
Yes, I do. Generally.
And how many photos would you say you have to take before you get a shot that you're pleased with before you upload to Instagram?
I don't know. It depends on the day, on the light, and on the subject. But I can say I do shoot. Okay, the Hipstamatic is kind of slow in a way. Like after 9 or 10 frames, it kind of renders it.
Okay, so it's like a buffering.
So yeah, it's like taking film photo in a way. So you have to kind of pause in a way. So that gives time. But daily, I don't know how many photos I take.
Like 50, 100, 200?
Oh my God, no. I mean, maybe, I guess 50. I guess.
And do you upload to Instagram every day?
I do. I try my best to upload every day.
Are there any, for people, I know some of my friends who aren't on Instagram yet, are there any pro tips you would get for Instagram's do's and don'ts for Instagram?
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to post too much. That would be a no-no.
Why don't you open up your Instagram so people can see your feed real quick? Why don't you click up your Instagram?
Okay.
And what is your Instagram handle again?
This is Fisheye Dreams.
At Fisheye Dreams, okay.
Yeah. And it's good to follow good photographers. They can start with Tiny Collective and the members, because we really, I think, are the edge, and it's good to follow up good photographers. And also you can follow Magnum photographers, and a lot of good photographers are putting their work up, especially photojournalists.
Yes.
And it's good to instantly see what they are doing. So I think, first of all, follow good photographers. Second, when you shoot, you should post one a day, and try your best to post the best. And you need to tag it, but not too many tags.
So what do you think is like a sweet spot in terms of hashtags?
Oh my God. I don't tag it very much because I just tag Black and White and Tiny Collective.
Yes.
But, you can choose different tags of what targets you want. So I wouldn't want to suggest any tag, but they could look through and find, groups that tag that. And there are also little competitions like Street Black and White, so they can tag it, and and sometimes they're selected among certain groups, and that would help them to get more popular. And I think feedback is also important, so you'd get good feedback.
I know so many people out there are just so obsessed with getting lots of followers and likes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
How important is that?
To tell you the truth, really, it depends on what you want. For me, I'm so happy with the community that I'm in. I established a small community with good photographers. I get to contact good photojournalists. I get them to follow me and give feedback, which is very, very important for me. On the other hand, if you have a lot of followers, then you have some power socially, but it doesn't mean you have good photos, in my opinion. I think it's about making a selection, not about numbers, really. But numbers do give power socially, and it's just, you just have to make a choice. I mean, I shoot black and white, and it's not very appealing to the general public. So, but it's perfectly enough for me.
So why black and white for you?
As I said, because it's color for me is a little bit. It comes in front of everything, and it dominates the photo. And unless you're using it really for your benefit, it's for me, it just doesn't work, and I can't see through color. So for me, black and white works because of the composition, and I think it brings out the subject more emotion-wise. But as I said, there are really cool color photographers, but I'm not good at that. So,
in terms of black and white photographers, who are your biggest inspirations?
oh my God. I mean, all the big guys, but I guess Vivian Maier is really the latest. I'm the latest fan of Vivian Maier, and I really like Metzger. He's
Ray Metzger?
Yes, he's from Philadelphia, and he's got really, really very nice black and white photos of city life, and kind of contrasty. That's it.
Nice.
So.
So we're about to wrap up in a bit. So can you, so a lot of people out there, aspiring street photographers, what tips would you give them in terms of, creating more compelling black and white images, in terms of compositions, layers, to create more powerful images? What is some advice you would give?
I think you just have to shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot and observe and observe. Sometimes don't shoot, just observe and just watch, and look at a lot of other photographers' photos. But the main thing, I think, is if you really, really love it, you will find your style. I really believe in that. I mean, if you really love what you're doing, you will look, you will shoot, you will try to do better, and I'm absolutely sure you'll find your style. And I don't mind people beginning, when they're in their beginning stage, imitating. I really don't mind, because it kind of gives a sense of what the advanced people are doing. And if you can maybe imitate a little bit, and then after that, you're going to find out that you're going to have your inner voice out, and it's gonna flow.
And any last words you'd like to share, things you'd like to mention, shout outs, etc.?
Come to Istanbul. Really, and please do look at our collective, and follow us, And thank you for this opportunity.
And are there any other links people could follow you in your work?
Mainly Instagram.
Once again, that is at
Fish Eye Dreams.
huh?
And also, you can follow Tiny Collective and tinycollective.com. So.
Thank you so much, Elif.
Oh, thank you.
You've inspired me to sell my Leica.
Oh. Okay. Cool.
All right, fair trade. Your iPhone for my Leica. Nice. Even. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
All right. Bye.
Brilliant.